This is just me seeing similarities, looking at something, seeing a parallel to it when I'm observing stuff, and this is going back ages ago, this video, and because I just find it on a psychological side, seeing the similarities on Marty and Aaron and how they both are super duper double crosses. This is just worth listening to. It's Aaron talking about Marty and the day Marty basically got paid off by Scientology.
Conversation between Jeffrey Augustine and Aaron Smith-Levin a few years ago now, when Marty Rathbun got paid off by Scientology to turn and disappear, just vanish and disappear. Let's have a little listen, shall we?
Hello and welcome to another edition of Surviving Scientology Radio with your host, Jeffrey Augustine. Today we have on returning guest, Aaron Smith-Levin. Aaron, welcome to the show.
Hey, Jeff, thanks for having me.
Hey, Aaron, I really got to say at the beginning that I love your live streaming you've been doing online.
Thank you. Certainly I've been getting questions about Marty Rathbun.
Like you, I've been watching it with interest. And what's your general observation of the video series? So
what they're going to discuss is how this happened. How did Marty end up being sucked back in? I have listened to various podcasts, and some say that he's gone back into Scientology. Some say he's got a little farm somewhere, been paid off, and doesn't ever want to talk or speak or hear of Scientology again. So there are various things. If you don't know about Marty Rathbun, well worth going and having a look at that. Right, back to Aaron talking to Jeffrey Augustine and Marty Rathbun going back in.
Far.
Well, I'll tell you, the first 2 or 3 videos, even though I was disappointed that he had chosen to seemingly side back with the church, I wasn't terribly offended by the content to the degree that it seemed like he was at least saying things that were probably true to him. Meaning it seemed like he was probably at least speaking his own words. There's just no doubt in my mind in the last, 25, 30 videos he's done. And he's no longer speaking his own words. He's reading a script from the church. He's reading the church's talking points. He's going down a list of bullet points he's been given to cover. And it's just really disturbing and kind of disgusting. And I know a lot of people have said, well, this really is the same Marty that we've seen all along. It's just that for a while he was on our side and now he's not. We shouldn't.
It's just tragic, isn't it, really? It is, isn't it, how money won for Marty, but money didn't win for Mike.
Be particularly surprised or disturbed by this, but I do find it disturbing because I actually can't say that I have seen somebody completely turn on everything they claimed to stand for and everyone they claimed to have as a friend.
I've seen that happen. You did it, Aaron. You did it to Mike.
I cannot, as I sit here, think of any other example that I've seen in my life of something like that actually happening.
I can think of it. I can think of one. You did it, Aaron. You did that to your friend Mike.
It is pretty disturbing to witness.
Yes, it's unprecedented in our circles.
It was disturbing for us to watch as well, as we watched you completely turn on a friend who you've had friends and you worked with. It's just sounding really like what Marty did.
To see someone flipped like that, turned, whatever you want to say. What's interesting to me, his videos are now on a Church of Scientology website.
Yeah.
There are Church of Scientology websites for most of the people who are speaking out. Aaron's one is just damning. I mean, it's awful, really. Film there to prove that.
Okay, so the Church of Scientology is using him as supposedly a credible source. So my questions are Marty Rathbun.
So my question is the credible source thing. Yeah. So would that mean, because Marty now is not a credible source, that we don't use him as a credible source? Would that then apply to Aaron, because we're now understanding that Aaron is not a credible source? So do we need to just disregard Aaron now and concentrate on people getting out of Scientology rather than any of this drama that Aaron's created?
Videos credible? Is Marty credible?
Well, you put up a fantastic page on the website Scientology Money Project that addresses this, and I cited that today on Twitter. And I've taken a moment to examine this myself internally. Of okay, well, am I taking someone who before I was saying was credible, and now I'm saying he's not credible just because he's on?
I believe this was what happened to thousands of people as they watched it happen live on the telly. But instead of it being Marty, it was you, Aaron, doing it.
The other side of the fence, and I asked myself, well, how has this changed for me personally? And I think the difference is that before, when Marty was talking about, when Marty was ostensibly out of the church, talking about issues that happened in the church, he wasn't really engaged in character assassination. He was simply imparting, at least I can recall, facts and incidents and things that happened. And what I'm seeing him do now is, well, let's take what he said about Mike Rinder. Mike Rinder's the closest thing to a best friend that Marty has ever had, while in or since leaving Scientology. And he's doing these videos, and he just calls him Rinder, like he's a fucking stranger or something.
Yeah.
Rinder. And he's making broad, sweeping generalities like, gosh, it's been over 10 years since Rinder left the Sea Org, and he hasn't held down a job in the entire time. He's just been working for people who will give him money to talk against Scientology. And I'm sitting here going, Marty Rathbun knows damn well that Mike spent the last 2 years working for me full-time in my investment research business. And I would characterize that as holding down a real job. I certainly wasn't paying Mike to speak out against Scientology. I was paying Mike to work full-time with me, 40, 50, 60 hours a week in my business. And Marty knows that. And yet he will sit there and just make generalized character assassinations against Mike that he obviously knows aren't true.
Do we know anyone else who does that? I am Mrs. J. Please like, share, and subscribe.